Good afternoon, everybody. We are going to get a little warm up in, and then we are going to do some upper body and some lower body. I've got modifications for everything. As far as equipment, all you're really going to need is a mat or a soft surface for those items that we do when we're down on the ground if you choose to. But to get started, to get nice and warmed up, you've got two options. So you can get into a nice split stance, just like so, and you're going to have those hands on that front thigh, and you're going to lean in. Otherwise, if we can get into that half kneeling position, you're going to do the same thing. So regardless, that front leg is bent, and we are leaning in, waking up those hip flexors. If getting down on the ground is not in the cards today, then we are going to be in that kind of split lunge position and still leaning and still extending that back leg. And go ahead and switch. So again, either in that split position, bent front leg, extended back leg, or all the way down in our half kneeling, but still hinging forward. Good. Go ahead and bring yourself up. Nice wide stance, feet wider than shoulder width, and you're just going to shift your weight from the right to the left side. Push your butt back. One knee is straight, one is bent. Slight hinge, show you from the side, just a slight lean forward. Keep that going. Might hear a little snap, crackle, and pop. I'm doing it too. 3, 2, 1. Stay in this position, but hinge a little bit more for me. Allow your arms to come down completely to the center with your palms facing, and you're just going to make the letter Y. So let those arms come out at an angle. Use your upper back muscles, pinch those shoulder blades together. Get some relief in those shoulders and your upper back if you've been sitting a little hunched over at our desk a little too long today. Now take them all the way out, and now the letter T with those arms. So palms are facing forward. We're still pushing our butt back. Nice flat back position. Just waking up those upper body muscles. Last 3, 2, 1. All right, now that we're warmed up, what we're going to do, we're going to do a movement for 45 seconds. You're going to rest for 15, and then we're going to move on to the next one. And I'll show you what that next move is in that 15-second break. So our first one, at your own pace, during the entire 45 seconds, you are going to go from a narrow position. So your feet are going to be right at shoulder width, if not a little bit more in. And you're going to do a squat. Step it out a little wider, right at shoulder, or maybe a little bit past. And then wide out as you can in that sumo squat position. And then you step it back in, back to that narrow. So narrow, shoulder width, wide squats for 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1. You can follow along with me. You can go at your own pace. But your goal is to sit back on those heels, find that imaginary chair, nice bend in those knees, but working every aspect of our thighs as we step into those 3 different positions. So we're getting outer, inner, and glute work here. 15 seconds left. And then we're going to go down to the ground for an upper body exercise. If you do not want to get down to the ground, you will be doing this next exercise against a wall or modified down on your knees. 3, 2, 1. Our next one, what we just did with our feet for squats, we are now going to do with push-ups. Narrow, right at shoulder, a little wide. You can perform that at an angle on a wall. You can perform that modified down on your knees or up in that high plank position. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So pretty narrow. Try to get that chest down to the ground and then extend those arms out. This isn't a competition. You don't have to speed through this. This is just something to wake up those muscles. Everyone has a different form of Zen. Sometimes movement is your Zen. That's your moment of peace where you come back. You get grounded with movement. So take this at your own pace. Again, I'm modifying down on the knees. You can be up in that high plank, or you can be at a wall, so you're not even going down to the ground at all. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Our next leg movement is clock lunges. So your right leg is going to go to 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and your left leg will finish all the way back up to the top of that clock. Modification, do not bend as low. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So we step, we drop that back knee, nice lateral lunge, just like our warm up, and then a reverse lunge, and then finish the clock with the other leg. Again, do not worry how many times you get around the clock. And your modification for this is just nice little steps, nice subtle little bends. You're just not getting that knee down as low. 10 seconds left. Finish up what you can around that clock. Our next one is back down at the ground, or you can stay up. We are going to be moving to those clock positions in a plank. This can be done down on your knees or up on your toes, going to 12, walking those hands to 3, and so on all the way in that circle. 3, 2, 1. If we're not getting down on the ground, you can do standing push-ups at that wall yet again, okay? So crawling, moving those hands to those different positions, keeping those feet or those knees center in that pivot point, waking up those shoulders and our chest muscles going around that clock with our upper body. 20 seconds left. Last 10. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's do all 4 of those movements one more time, but we're going to drop down to 30 seconds. So back to our squat, narrow, shoulder width, and wide stance with our feet. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Good job. Halfway. And then if you remember, we do the same movement with our push-ups. Either at the wall, modified on your knees, or up on your toes. 3, 2, 1. Good. Get set up for push-ups. Either go find your wall space, head down to the ground, narrow, shoulder width, and wide stance. We go in 3, 2, 1. Begin. You don't have to set those hands too far apart from each other. Don't go far too wide, and then you still have one more wide one to go. Just nice and subtle shifts. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're getting set back up again for those clock lunges. So again, either a nice subtle little lean or a full flexion and extension for that lunge. All the way around the clock. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Halfway. Three, 2, 1. Very good. Right. If you're staying at the wall, we've got those push-ups yet again, but just keep those hands right at shoulder width. Otherwise, we have our moving clock plank done on your knees or up on your toes. 3, 2, 1. Start at that 12. Keep that pivot point with your knees. Or if you're not modifying and we're up on our toes, still keeping that pivot point in that nice high plank. Good job. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. If you're up at the wall, I just want you to kind of cave into that wall a little bit. If you're down on the ground, child's pose. Send your glutes to those heels, push the ground away with your extended hands, and hold that position there for as long as you would like. And I'll see you next time.